I find myself transformed into a cherubic 5-year-old, feigning innocence and exuberance. My familia father masquerading as a benevolent philanthropist, a mother embodying the grace of a gentle film star, and a brother posing as the quintessential model student are all engaged in their own charades. We present ourselves as a loving family, yet that could not be further from the truth. In reality, we are the most nefarious family within the pages of a book, and today marks the beginning of our collective downfall. Seated in an exquisite children's chair, I gaze upon this affable family, my heart trembling with trepidation. My heavens, this final supper is exceedingly lavish. My father is set to detonate the rival company's servers today, only to be ensnared by the protagonist and witness the collapse of his career. My mother just sent a budding starlet to Africa for mining, only for the girl to survive against all odds, returning with incriminating evidence against her. My brother has grand plans to hack the college entrance examination system to alter grades for his younger sibling, only to be tracked down by a latent genius protagonist and dispatched to a juvenile detention center. Clutching my teddy bear, I strive to muster a sweet smile. I am so frightened as a 5-year-old. Will I be sent to feed the fish? Suddenly, a sound pierces the air. My father, Gu Xiao, the man who moments before wore a gentle smile reminiscent of paternal affection, drops his silver cutlery onto the pristine plate, producing a jarring clatter. The warmth of his smile freezes upon his visage. My mother, Shen Qinghuan, the epitome of elegance who even cuts steak with the grace of an artist, inadvertently tips her wine glass, spilling crimson liquid across half the tablecloth, oblivious to the mess. Her expression is one I have never witnessed, fractured and perplexed. My aloof genius brother, Gu Chen, allows his chopsticks to slip from his fingers for the first time. Confusion akin to system failure graces his typically impassive features. The vast dining hall falls into an eerie silence. Yet, I dutifully continue to play the role of an innocent 5-year-old, blinking my large, innocent eyes and chirping, "Daddy, Mommy, Brother, what's wrong? Help! Why have they all gone still?" Could it be that the narrative deity has invoked a time freeze, preparing to bestow justice upon our villainous family with a bolt of lightning? Please move. Your stillness only heightens my fear. According to the plot, Father, you should now kiss me and then depart with your briefcase to pursue grand endeavors. Gu Zhao's eyes twitch involuntarily. He slowly turns his head, frame by frame, regarding me with an expression of bewilderment that is extraordinarily complex, one that mingles shock, confusion, and perhaps a hint of exploration, and then he utters, his voice dry. What did you just say? I tilt my head, endeavoring to portray childlike naivety, and then asked, Daddy, Mommy, Brother, what's wrong? What else could I possibly say? Internally, I am overwhelmed with sarcasm. Would I dare voice my thoughts? Would I dare reveal that he is on the brink of committing a crime, only to be met with the protagonist's devastating retribution? I dare not. Gu Xiao takes a deep breath, as if attempting to forcibly realign the narrative back onto its intended course. He picked up the knife and fork once more, laboriously forcing a smile. That was more grotesque than a cry. It's nothing. Dad was just lost in thought about the company. As he spoke, he cut a small piece of steak for me, his movements exceedingly stiff, resembling a rusted automaton. Here, and then eat more. Yes, this is the plan. Once you finish the steak, you must leave. Then this afternoon, the news will report that your nemesis, the Li Group, had its core server physically destroyed. The perpetrator drove a black Porsche with the license plate A88888. Dad, can we perhaps choose a more discreet vehicle next time? This is too ostentatious. Gu Zhao's hand, poised to cut the steak, suddenly froze. He looked up, fixing his gaze upon me as if trying to discern a secret etched upon my face. My mother, Shen Qinghuan, also regained her composure. Gracefully, she picked up her napkin to dab at the corner of her mouth, her enchanting peach blossom eyes now brimming with tumultuous waves. Darling, I believe you have been working too hard lately, she said softly. Why not let the vice president handle today's meeting? You should rest at home. Yes. Don't go. Listen to Mom. Stay home and bide your time until our victory is assured. Though my mother isn't exactly a paragon of virtue, that girl, Choo Choo, is likely already packaged and en route to a cargo plane. Destination: the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Position: quality inspector for diamond mines. Mother, truly, I am at a loss for words. Couldn't you at least leave her a glimmer of hope? She's bound to return with international mercenaries in tow. Shen Qinghuan's hand also paused midair. She exchanged a glance with my father, both wearing an expression of undisguised horror. The atmosphere grew increasingly bizarre. Only my brother, Gu Chen, slowly lowered his head, picking up his phone, his fingers rapidly tapping away at something. Bro, Stop typing, I know what you're up to. You're assisting your incompetent teammate in cheating, attempting to hack into the college entrance examination system to change his failing physics grade to a perfect score. Your little brother is actually an undercover agent sent by the protagonist group. The moment you make a move, they will spring their trap. You think you're a top-tier hacker, but in the presence of the protagonist's aura, you're merely a mobile experience package, dear brother. Gu Chen's fingers hovered over the send button. He raised his head, his usually cool gaze now filled with 3 questions. Who am I? Where am I? What am I doing? The entire family, perfectly aligned, had turned to stone. I felt as if their intense stares were melting me away. Oh no. Why are they all looking at me like that? Have I revealed something? But wait, I haven't uttered a single word. What on earth is happening? Could it be? They can hear my thoughts. As that notion surfaced, I was startled by my own audacity. Across the table, the 3 of them, upon hearing my unvoiced musings, transformed their expressions in unison from shock to terror, ultimately settling into a chilling silence. In that moment, I realized my suspicions were confirmed. It was over. The entire family were the antagonists, and I was merely a knave flower pretending to be so. Now they had discovered that I was privy to all their secrets. I felt a chill creep down my neck. Help. Am I to be silenced forever? Will my father turn me into a concrete block and cast me into the river? Will my mother send me to Siberia to toil in the fields? Will my brother erase my IP address from existence? I am merely 5 years old. I wished to live at least 2 more years. The more I pondered, the more fear enveloped me, and tears, like pearls, cascaded down my cheeks. I wept with a heart-wrenching despair. This sobbing seemed to trigger some unseen switch. In an instant, my father sprang up from his chair, moving with a speed as if jolted by electricity. Don't cry, Anan. Daddy won't leave. Today, I shall remain home to be with you. He rushed over and lifted me from my chair, awkwardly patting my back. My mother also dashed forward, anxiously wiping away my tears. Darling, please don't cry. I was wrong, I won't send anyone to mine anymore. I'll bring her back right away. How about a vacation in the Maldives instead? As she spoke, she swiftly retrieved her phone, barking into it, stop. Immediately. Bring her back to me. Yes, unharmed. Use the best aircraft and send her to the finest hotel. Bill it to me. My brother rushed to my side, snatching my teddy bear and clumsily drying my tears. And be good that I won't hack the system anymore. I'll go to the library to do my homework 100 times. No, 1,000 times. Surrounded by their fervent concern, my cries began to falter. What is happening? Have the villains collectively turned over a new leaf? My father is no longer attacking servers? My mother is bringing people back? My brother aims to be a model student? Is it merely because they can hear my innermost thoughts? Through tear-filled eyes, I gazed at their unprecedented tension and eagerness to please. A bold notion emerged in my young mind. It seemed I would not be cast into the river after all. Moreover, perhaps this household of supposed villains was not beyond redemption? From that day forth, the atmosphere within our household took a dramatic turn. My father, Gu Xiao, a man whose mere stomp could send tremors through the financial sector, became utterly captivated by the role of a dutiful father. He dismissed all unnecessary meetings and social engagements, returning home punctually each day, with his work relocated to the study. On this particular day, he was engaged in a phone call in his study. Clutching my teddy bear, I quietly cracked the door open just a sliver. I overheard him speaking to the other end of the line, his tone icy and filled with menace. That old fox from the Leaf family still wishes to play tricks with me? Compile the evidence of his tax evasion and send it anonymously to the tax bureau. Furthermore, for his son, who is gallivanting abroad, procure some compelling photographs to ensure he graces the headlines tomorrow. Wow, Dad is so formidable. This is how a true antagonist should behave. However, isn't the Li group the family of the protagonist, Li Zhe? Won't this provoke him to unleash his full power? The book states that Li Zhe is a reborn individual. He is already aware that my father possesses such incriminating evidence and has prepared in advance. My father's actions this time not only failed to harm him but allowed Li Zhe to turn the tables, accusing our Gu family of malicious business competition, causing our stock price to plummet for several days. Alas, antagonists often meet their demise through excessive chatter and underestimation. The ancients truly did not deceive me. In the study, Gu Xiao, who was issuing commands, abruptly fell silent. The person on the other end of the line waited respectfully. Mr. Gu, do you have any further instructions? Gu Xiao remained silent for a full 10 seconds. Then, adopting an oddly strained tone as though constipated for a fortnight, he said, "Forget it. The previous plan is cancelled." Pardon? The assistant on the phone sounded bewildered. Gu Xiao enunciated each word with deliberation, his teeth clenched. We are legitimate businessmen and must abide by the law. Let him frolic. After hanging up the phone, Gu Xiao wearily pinched the bridge of his nose, and upon turning, found himself meeting my inquisitive gaze, peering through the door. He stiffened momentarily before donning a warm, genial smile. And you're awake? I rubbed my eyes and scampered inside, leaping into his embrace. Daddy, hug. Gu Xiao lifted me onto his lap, gently stroking my hair with his large hand. Father's embrace is so warm. Not at all like that of a ruthless character who would send someone to the rooftop. Yet, he appeared so constrained just now, as if his punch had landed on cotton. Actually, it's not impossible to deal with Li Zhe. We merely need to alter our approach. Li Zhe's greatest vulnerability is his infatuated sister, Li Yanran. Is she currently pursuing my brother? If my brother employs a bit of charm, he could extract all of Li Group's upcoming project plans from her. Knowing oneself and one's adversary ensures victory in every battle. Seated behind me, Gu Xiao suddenly jolted. His gaze upon me brightened, resembling 2,000 watt bulbs. The following day, my aloof brother, Gu Qin, who usually seemed untouched by the mundane world, unexpectedly appeared before Li Yanran, holding a cup of milk tea. Li Yanran was so thrilled she nearly fainted on the spot. Later, I learned that my brother successfully exchanged that cup of milk tea for a blueprint of the Li Group's development plans for the next 3 years. My father, with remarkable ease, managed to seize several significant projects from the Li family without a single drop of bloodshed, infuriating the male protagonist, Li Zhe, who smashed 3 antique vases in his office. Meanwhile, my father remained at home, casually peeling an apple for me while listening to his assistant report on the victories, his face adorned with a triumphant smile. A promising pupil indeed, I thought with satisfaction. On my mother, Shen Qinghuan's side, the atmosphere was equally peculiar. Ever since the mining incident in Africa, she had been dedicated to crafting an image of a benevolent saint within the entertainment industry. On this particular day, she took me to her filming set, where an actress named Su Weiwei, the original female lead, approached gracefully, holding a cup of coffee. Sister Qinghuan, thank you for your hard work. Have a cup of coffee, she said, her smile sweet and harmless, yet her eyes sparkled with cunning. Here it comes, the classic scenario of an accidental coffee spill. This cup of coffee would undoubtedly end up splashing onto my mother, scalding hot. Su Weiwei would then apologize profusely, claiming it was unintentional, and subsequently, a paid article would circulate online praising her for her fearless demeanor and genuine nature. My mother, the true antagonist, would inevitably erupt in anger, striking her and thereby capturing the media's attention, solidifying the accusation of bullying newcomers and ruining her reputation. Mother, quickly step aside. Don't fall for the trap. As Shen Qinghuan reached to accept the coffee, she seemed to hear my thoughts. Her hand traced an elegant arc in the air, and she casually adjusted her hair. Thank you, but my assistant has prepared warm water for me, she replied with an impeccable smile.
Sui's smile froze,
her hand holding the coffee in a state of indecision. The protagonist truly is remarkable, exhibiting impressive adaptability. Just look at her, with a quick flick of her eyes. She is bound to come up with a new tactic. Surely, her next move would be to feign slipping and fall, spilling coffee onto herself, and then placing the blame on my mother. When it comes to scheming, she is a professional. Just as Su Weiwei tilted her body, about to showcase her skill of falling, my mother, Shen Qinghuan, moved with lightning speed and gently caught her. Oh dear. Weiwei, be careful, the floor is slippery, she said with a steady grip, preventing Su Weiwei from tumbling down, her form held in an exceedingly comical pose. All eyes on the set turned towards them, and Su Weiwei's face oscillated between red and pale. Shen Qinghuan added fuel to the fire, her expression filled with concern. Young people can be so careless. Thankfully, I caught you. Otherwise, this newly purchased haute couture dress would have gotten stained. What a shame that would be. Hilarious. Mother executed that beautifully. I give her full marks for this maneuver. Just look at Su Weiwei's expression, as if she had swallowed a fly. Trying to scheme, only to be caught. How embarrassing. Su Weiwei nearly fled in disgrace. Upon returning home that evening, my mother joyfully applied a children's face mask on me while scrolling through her phone. The screen was filled with praises of her beauty, kindness, and mentorship of younger talents. She set her phone down and kissed my cheek, saying, "My darling Anin, you truly are my lucky star." I turned over and nestled closer in her embrace. Naturally, with my presence as a human plot radar, it would be challenging for any of you to falter. However, a more pressing matter crossed my mind. Although we had temporarily evaded minor pitfalls, the gravest crisis had yet to unfold. The pivotal moment in the narrative was my abduction. The kidnappers, orchestrated by the male protagonist, Lise, aimed to seize the core technology of my father's company with the ulterior motive of dismantling our family. During that kidnapping, in my attempt to protect my brother, I was tragically killed. My demise became the final straw that broke our family. My parents and brother succumbed to darkness, leading to their mutual destruction with the protagonists, resulting in our family's complete obliteration. The memory of that tragic outcome sent a shiver down my spine. At that moment, as I was applying a facial mask, Shen Qinghuan's hand suddenly trembled. She turned to exchange a glance with Gu Xiao and Gu Chen, who had just entered the room. The flicker of lightheartedness and pride that had briefly illuminated their faces vanished without a trace, replaced by an unprecedented gravity and murderous intent. Their gazes towards me were laden with trepidation and sorrow. I sensed that the atmosphere in the house had shifted once more. From that day forward, I discovered that my standing within the family had undergone a dramatic transformation. Previously, I was a delicate flower, needing to tread carefully to please them.
Now,
I had become the prized artifact under the vigilant protection of the Gu family. Upon stepping out, I was accompanied by 8 bodyguards clad in black, each one resembling a moving fortress. When attending kindergarten, the principal personally greeted me at the entrance, beaming brighter than a sunflower. During meals, every dish underwent 3 layers of scrutiny to ensure it was free from toxins, harm, and allergens. I felt as though I were living as a revered mascot. As for my family, they had ceased their pretense. Or rather, they no longer felt the need to maintain their aides in my presence. During that evening's dinner, the atmosphere at the table was no longer one of insincere harmony, but rather an eerie candor. My father, Gu Xiao, leisurely sipping his soup, casually remarked, "That rascal Lise has been acquiring our company's shares lately, attempting to sway the board." He then turned his gaze towards me. I was intently focused on devouring a piece of mango pudding, feigning ignorance of his words. Here we go again. The family meeting where I must scientifically devise a way to eliminate the rival faction.
Dad, please don't look at me.
I'm merely a 5-year-old child. I know nothing. Gu Zhao's lips twitched, evidently having heard my unspoken thoughts. He cleared his throat and rephrased his inquiry, guiding me gently in. Let me ask you a question. If there is a bad uncle who constantly tries to steal your father's toys, what do you think your father should do? What else could he do? Obviously, he should reclaim both the uncle and the toys. Had he forgotten the villain's code of conduct? Lise as Achilles' heel was his sister.
Was it not?
Did not she harbor a secret admiration for my brother? Last time, I merely extracted information. This time, we could escalate matters. For instance, I could inadvertently let slip to his sister that our family was preparing to venture into the new energy sector, when in reality, it was a ruse.
Lisa.
The reincarnated being surely believes he has unearthed some monumental secret, only to plunge headlong into a pitfall. In due course, he shall discover that we have already discreetly unraveled his entire background, cutting off his resources and rescuing ourselves from peril. The wisdom of our ancestors. Having concluded my thought, I contentedly scooped another generous spoonful of pudding. The dining table fell into silence. My father, mother, and brother, with 6 eyes collectively fixated upon me, expressed admiration in their gazes. Gu Xiao was the first to regain his composure. He swiftly grabbed his phone and sent several messages, his face adorned with the grin of a wolf spotting a rabbit. "Very well, let it be so," he declared. My mother, Shen Qinghuan, also set down her chopsticks, gazing at me with sultry eyes. "Darling, I have a conundrum of my own. That Su Weiwei is causing a ruckus on set again. She has bribed the stunt coordinator in an attempt to orchestrate an accident that would result in my falling from a height and breaking my leg. Oh dear. Has she resorted to such physical harm? The protagonist as Halo should not be wielded in such a manner. Isn't this rather simple? We shall return her treachery in kind. Tomorrow during filming, you feign ignorance. When she attempts her trickery, let our bodyguard invite the stunt coordinator for a cup of tea and substitute him with one of our own. Then, we shall ensure that the wire she uses is slightly weakened. There's no need to truly break her leg. Simply allowing her to dangle in midair for half an hour will suffice, letting her experience the sensation of being trapped between heaven and earth. Additionally, we can arrange for the paparazzi to capture her terrified visage from every angle, creating a trending topic titled Su Weiwei's on-set embarrassment, ensuring she will never forget this ordeal. My mother's eyes sparkled with excitement as she picked up her phone, laughing giddily. What a brilliant idea. My darling, you are truly a genius. Finally, it was my brother's turn. He adjusted his gold-rimmed glasses, the light behind the lenses glinting ominously. That Zhang Heng, the undercover from before, is once again spreading rumors at school, claiming I cheated on a test. I can handle this. Rumors cease with the wise. But they are best quelled by an even greater rumor. Brother, aren't you a top-tier hacker? Uncover every embarrassing moment from Zhang Heng's life. For instance, how he wet the bed at 3, spied on Aunt Wang next door at 5, and cheated off his desk, made throughout elementary school. Let us compile these into a visual montage accompanied by background music and infiltrate the school's opening ceremony to play it on the big screen, letting him experience what it feels like to be publicly shamed. Gu Chen nodded in silence, pulling out his ultra-thin laptop, his fingers dancing across the keyboard, leaving a trail of ghostly images in their wake. Observing the three of them, each scheming in their own right, I instinctively shrank back. Oh no. It seems I have inadvertently transformed them from mere minor antagonists into ultimate villains. At this rate, the protagonist group will surely be left weeping and wailing at our hands. Nevertheless, as long as our family remains intact until the grand finale, perhaps playing the role of the villain could be rather exhilarating. Upon hearing my final heartfelt plea, Gu Xiao, Shen Xinghuan, and Gu Qin simultaneously raised their heads, their faces adorned with a shared expression of indulgent yet sinister smiles. That smile seemed to convey, indeed, Arnon speaks the truth. Days passed in a joyful atmosphere of wit and courage shared with the main characters. Under my heartfelt guidance, our family not only avoided the relentless defeats depicted in the original narrative, but instead grew bolder, vanquishing the protagonists with resounding triumphs. Lise, ensnared by my father's business traps, teetered on the brink of bankruptcy, consumed by his daily turmoil, leaving no time for any notions of rebirth and revenge. After her harrowing experiences with a wire stunt and a mortifying ceremony, Su Weiwei faded into obscurity within the entertainment industry. Rumored to have become an internet celebrity in a small, insignificant county, peddling local specialties. My brother, Gu Chen, became a legend at school, and no one dared to provoke him anymore. Our family emerged as an entity that commanded respect throughout the city. I believed that the gravest threat, the kidnapping plot, had been extinguished in its infancy. However, fate had other plans. On the day of my 6th birthday, my father reserved an entire amusement park for my celebration, while my mother enlisted an internationally renowned pastry chef and my brother designed a holographic gaming experience for me. Dressed in a splendid princess gown, I was enveloped in happiness, embodying the essence of a true little princess. Yet, as I delighted in the carousel ride, an unexpected incident unfolded. A staff member clad in a clown costume approached me, extending a balloon with a cheerful grin, saying, "Happy birthday, little one. Uncle will take you to see something even more fun, shall we?" Gazing at him, I recognized the malice lurking behind his heavily made-up visage. Here it comes. My heart sank. The inertia of the plot is indeed formidable. The anticipated kidnapping has arrived. I know this man. He is Wang Hu, the most loyal dog of Lise. In the book, it was he who abducted me. What to do? What to do? The bodyguards are stationed outside, my mother and brother are over at the castle preparing the cake, and my father has gone to meet an important guest. Right now, I am utterly alone. I clenched the hem of my princess dress, my mind racing. I must remain calm. I need to think clearly. Wang Hu intends to lure me to the back parking lot, where an unlicensed van awaits him. If I scream now, he might act out of desperation and harm the other children. It seems I have no choice but to comply with him for the moment. I lifted my head and offered him an innocent smile. "Okay, Uncle Clown." Wang Hu visibly relaxed at my response. He took my hand and led me toward the amusement park's rear exit. My heart raced, yet I was certain that my family had heard my silent cry for help. "Father, mother, brother, please hurry and come to rescue me." Wang Hu's plan is to take me to an abandoned factory on the outskirts of the city, where he intends to use me as leverage against my father to extract the latest technological advancements in the Tianqiong chip from Gu Corporation. The technology in question is the culmination of my father's efforts and the lifeblood of the Gu family's future for the next decade. He would certainly never relinquish it. In a fit of rage and humiliation, Wang Hu would tear up the ticket. As I was being led away by him, the thought of that outcome made me shudder involuntarily. Wang Hu, lost in the joyous anticipation of his plan, suddenly felt a chill run down his spine. Had he heard some peculiar sound? Was that little girl speaking? No, she hadn't uttered a single word. It must be an illusion, undoubtedly an illusion. He quickened his pace. We soon arrived at the back door, where a dilapidated white van was parked by the roadside. Wang Hu scooped me up and shoved me into the vehicle before swiftly locking the door and taking the driver's seat. The van roared to life and sped away from the amusement park. I sat in the dark confines of the vehicle, striving to maintain my composure. Thankfully, the princess dress I wore today concealed a miniature locator that my brother had cleverly disguised. This military-grade tracker had an error margin of no more than 1 meter. My brother must have already pinpointed my location and was strategizing the optimal route for pursuit. Father should have received the news as well. The important guest he was meant to pick up today was supposedly the head of the Asia-Pacific region for Interpol. Perfect. There would be ample evidence to apprehend both Li Zhe and Wang Hu. Mother had likely mobilized her entire network. The city's traffic surveillance must now be serving our family. This van would have no escape. While driving, Wang Hu's hand trembled, causing the vehicle to swerve sharply and nearly collide with the roadside barrier. He glanced into the rearview mirror as if he had seen a ghost. The delicate little girl sat quietly in the back seat, clutching her teddy bear, her expression innocent and bewildered. But what had he just heard? What did you say? Wang Hu rasped, his voice laced with fear and disbelief. I tilted my head innocently, responding, "Uncle," and didn't he say anything at all? This kidnapper's psychological fortitude was clearly lacking. Was he already beginning to succumb to paranoia? It was understandable, given that he had an elderly mother to care for, a 3-year-old child, and a wife awaiting his return with money for her medical treatment. He had taken this risk only because Li Zhe had offered him a substantial sum. Little did he know that Li Zhe had prepared a scapegoat for him, intending to dispose of him once the job was done. Li Zhe had even bribed someone to tamper with his wife's surgery. How tragic for this man. Suddenly, a piercing screech of brakes echoed as the van came to a jarring halt in the middle of the road. Wang Hu's face turned pale, and he trembled as he turned to stare at me, his expression one of sheer terror. "How do you know these things?" he shrieked, his voice thick with fear and disbelief. I blinked innocently and continued my charade. "Uncle, what are you talking about?" And doesn't he understand? Had he truly heard me? Could he even hear my thoughts? What was happening? Was it merely the proximity between us? At that moment, Wang Hu's psychological defenses crumbled utterly. He became aware of the affairs within his household, recognized Li Zhe's insidious plot, and understood the grim fate that awaited him. All of this derived from the heartfelt utterance of a 5-year-old girl. This revelation instilled in him a terror far more profound than any torture could inflict. "You are a devil." He gazed at me as if I were some grotesque creature. "I am no devil. I am merely an unremarkable transmigrator," I replied. "Brother, it is not too late for you to kneel and plead for mercy. Observe that water truck ahead. It has been arranged by my mother and will conveniently break down to obstruct your path. On the rooftop of the building to your left, a sniper, arranged by my father, has already targeted your brow with a red. The drone hovering above you belongs to my brother. It is broadcasting everything occurring within your vehicle. Your sole chance of survival lies in embracing me, exiting the car, kneeling on the ground, and shouting that you were coerced by Li Zhe." Wang Hu, guided by my heartfelt entreaty, stiffly turned his neck. He beheld the water truck slowly coming to a halt ahead. He noticed the fleeting red atop the adjacent building. He heard the incessant buzzing of the drone above. With a resounding thud, Wang Hu, a towering man standing at 6 feet tall, collapsed to his knees, weeping uncontrollably under my guidance. He opened the car door, enveloped me in his arms, and dashed out, kneeling in the middle of the street. With every ounce of strength he could muster, he unleashed the most thunderous cry of his life. "I was wrong. I was manipulated by Li Zhe. I shall never dare again. Please spare me." Moment later, a fleet of black sedans screeched to a halt, encircling us. Doors swung open, and my father, mother, and brother emerged from different vehicles, their faces ablaze with fury and intent. Upon seeing me, unharmed, nestled beside the trembling kidnapper, they froze in astonishment. I broke free from Wang Hu's grasp and, with my petite legs, rushed into my father's embrace. "Daddy." Gu Xiao held me tightly, his body still slightly trembling. "It's all right, Nen, it's all right." I buried my head in his chest, listening to the steady rhythm of his heartbeat, feeling an unprecedented sense of tranquility wash over me. Thank goodness. It was a close call. Now, the protagonist's final card has been played. At last, our family can live together in harmony and happiness. Upon hearing my thoughts, my father, cradling me, my mother gently stroking my hair, and my brother standing nearby with a tender gaze, all smiled. Their smiles bore no trace of pretense or calculation, only the relief of regained fortune and an overwhelming, nearly overflowing love. Following the kidnapping incident, Li Zhe, as the mastermind, was exposed by Wang Hu, coupled with the commercial crime evidence meticulously gathered by my father and the timely visit from an Interpol official. Li Zhe and the Li Corporation crumbled overnight. The once reborn protagonist, consumed by a desire for vengeance, ultimately faced a lifetime behind bars. The protagonist's faction was utterly decimated. In our household, life has returned to its usual rhythm, yet there seems to be an air of something peculiar. The most notable change is the way they gaze at me, as if I were a living deity. The atmosphere of our family meetings has also become increasingly absurd. One day, my father waved a document in front of me. I am contemplating the acquisition of a tech company. Please lend me your insight. Do you perceive any pitfalls? I replied, Dad, I am merely a conduit of my thoughts, not an omniscient machine. However, I recalled some details about the company. I seem to remember it. The founder is a tech whiz, undeniably talented, yet lacking in management skills, and the company teeters on the brink of collapse. Subsequently, it was acquired at a bargain by a speculator who capitalized on his technology, profiting immensely while ousting him from the enterprise. I added, if you proceed with the acquisition, ensure you treat the founder well, granting him ample equity and the freedom to innovate. He possesses the potential to help you forge a technological empire. Upon hearing this, Gu Xiao nodded in satisfaction and promptly called his assistant. Draft a high-caliber equity incentive contract. I wish to meet the founder in person. My mother joined in, presenting several photographs. Darling, for my next film, I have a few candidates for the male lead. Could you help me discern which one might become a sensation and which could potentially falter? I responded, Mom, do you consider me a living talisman of the entertainment industry? I scrutinized the candidates. The one on the left, a charming young man, has promise, yet his tumultuous personal life will likely lead to a scandal in 6 months. I continued. The rugged gentleman in the center possesses commendable acting skills, but has secretly wed and signed a betrothal agreement, eagerly awaiting the film's success to exploit the single persona for profit. Finally, I remarked, the one on the right, this newcomer is quite impressive. What was his name? Lin Shen. He hails from a respectable lineage, has formal training, is humble, and, most importantly, possesses exceptional talent, though fortune has yet to smile upon him. I concluded, if you select him, this film is destined to become a blockbuster, and Lin Shen will surely soar, becoming your next loyal prodigy. Shen Qinghuan beamed with joy and decisively proclaimed, he is the one. Instruct the agent to finalize the contract immediately. My brother Gu Chen, ever straightforward, placed a brand new, impressively sleek gaming console before me. Help me analyze the latest world hacker competition. What new tactics might my arch nemesis, God, employ this time? I retorted, brother, this is cheating. It is an affront to academic integrity. What of your dignity as a brilliant hacker? I sighed, alas, you are my brother. I elaborated, that God excels in feints. This time, he will ostensibly focus on the firewall, but his true weapon will be the implantation of a scarcely detectable logic bomb. I continued, the method to dismantle it is quite simple. Just follow these steps, and you shall prevail. Gu Chen's eyes sparkled with realization as he clutched his laptop and retreated to his room. 2 weeks later, Gu Chen triumphed in the World Hacker Competition, decisively defeating his longtime rival, God, and solidifying his legendary status. As I observed my family thriving due to my insights, their careers flourishing, I couldn't help but sink into contemplation. It appears that I have not merely diverted them from the path of villainy, rather, I have bestowed upon them an unparalleled advantage, rendering them the insurmountable overlords in their respective realms. In this light, could it be that our family is destined to become a world-renowned clan of antagonists? In the living room, Gu Xiao, engrossed in his newspaper, Shen Qinghuan, savoring her tea, and Gu Chen, diligently polishing a trophy, paused at the sound of my heartfelt musings. Simultaneously, they turned their gaze towards me, their expressions graced with an enigmatic smile. Gu Xiao set down his newspaper and opened his arms towards me. And so what? As long as we are together, it matters not whether we are deemed villains or heroes. Shen Qinghuan approached, affectionately ruffling my hair. My dear, with you among us, we are invincible. Gu Chen, too, laid aside the trophy, uncharacteristically tousling my hair. And you are the heart of our family. As I beheld the sincere and indulgent smiles adorning their faces, warmth enveloped my heart. Indeed, what significance does villainy hold? As long as family resides by one's side, United by love and mutual protection, this home becomes the coziest refuge in the world. I dashed into my father's embrace. With my mother to the left and my brother to the right, sunlight streamed through the expansive floor-to-ceiling windows, enveloping us in a golden halo. Very well. From this day forth, my aspiration is to lead my family of villains to become the happiest, most joyful, and most formidable clan that none would dare to provoke. Who would dare to challenge us, Upon hearing my impassioned declaration, Gu Xiao, Shin Qinghuan, and Gu Qin could not suppress their laughter, resonating with happiness and contentment. I understood that the whimsical yet heartwarming saga of our family of rogues had only just begun.
And I, Gu Anin,
As the core of this family and their cherished darling, would forever be held in their tender embrace.